Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Dear students, you are welcome in this class. I am Dr. Dinesh Kumar, Principal Scientist from Division of Agronomy, ICAR, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, Pusa Campus, New Delhi. This lecture belongs to the course Agronomy of Oilseed, Fiber and Sugar Crops. The title of the lecture is Adaptability, Climate, Soil and Cultural Requirement of Sugarcane Crop. The learning objectives of this lecture are to explain the adaptability, climate and soil requirement of sugarcane crop, and then we will detail the cultural practices for higher yields of sugarcane crop. Cultural practices may include land or seedbed preparation, then requirement of sets or seed treatment and different planting method, and of course some other aspects related to cultural practices. So, you must have seen sugarcane, and these are the sets of sugarcane used for sowing purpose. Now, some glossary. Adsali, planting done in July, August in south, and crop takes 15 to 18 months for harvesting. So, this Adsali crop can be taken in certain parts of the country and particularly in Maharashtra. Alluvial soil, a type of fertile soil that is formed from sediments deposited by rivers and streams. Apical dominance, it is a phenomenon in plant growth where main plant stem is dominant in growth over side stems, primarily controlled by plant hormone auxin, which is produced at shoot tip. Autumn planting, it is a time of sugarcane planting, particularly in the month of October, November, and it takes longer growing periods and better return. Lateritic soil, formed in hot and wet tropical areas, known for reddish color and have high iron and aluminum content. Actually, in high rainfall areas, there is washing of salts or they percolate down, and hence such acidic soils are developed in coastal area particularly. Non-reducing sugar, sugars that cannot act as reducing agents due to absence of a free aldehyde or ketone groups, for example, sucrose. Sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. Now, reunion, the seed stalks stopped off 4 to 6 weeks before planting. Lateral shoot develop into tailed reunion and they are cut off and planted. So, it is a technique of planting sugarcane. Reducing sugar, sugars that can reduce other molecules due to their free aldehydes or ketone groups. Examples of reducing sugar are glucose, fructose and maltose. Settling, settling is kind of seedling or equivalent to seedling. In this case, establishment and growth of sugarcane sets cuttings after planting. Initial phase where the sets develop roots and shoots called as settling. Now, adaptability and climatic requirement for sugarcane crop. So, climate is most important single factor which determines possibility of a profitable sugarcane farming. It loves warm and bright weather and keeps growing and stores sugar under favorable conditions. It, however, needs mild cold weather for sugar accumulation. It can tolerate intermittent soil droughts during vegetative phase and requires a mild soil drought during maturity. It is therefore a crop of tropics and near tropics or up to some extent subtropics. Various components of climate which affect crop are temperature, rainfall, humidity, sunshine, wind velocity. All these climatic parameters affects its suitability for a particular condition or particular region. Minimum threshold temperature for cane growth is 16 degrees centigrade. Its vegetative growth almost ceases when mean daily air temperature drops below 21 degrees centigrade. Therefore, it can never be cultivated under temperate climatic conditions or low temperature conditions. Rising temperature in the range of 21 to 32 degrees centigrade have been found to be in close correlation with growth volume of the crop. No stoppage of cane growth due to higher temperature under adequate moisture supply has been reported. Means you can have a higher temperature, but at the same time if you supply moisture, then its growth is good. However, deficient moisture when temperature goes beyond 32 degree centigrade may exert a retarding effect on growth. So, temperature has to be accompanied by right soil moisture. In India, it is cultivated from 8 degree to 33 degree north latitude in areas receiving average annual rainfall from 500 millimeter to 2500 millimeter. Water requirement of sugarcane varies from 1200 to 2500 millimeter. So, you can see the water requirement of sugarcane is really quite high. It cannot be cultivated under dryland agriculture or dryland farming. It depends upon length of growing season, variety, soil and atmospheric conditions. So, certain shorter duration variety will have less water requirement compared to longer duration variety. If you are growing sugarcane in relatively lighter soils, then water requirement will be more compared to the soils where texture is heavy. So, being a crop of 12 months or even longer duration, it faces all the three seasons, particularly in subtropical areas. It passes through the summer season, monsoon season as well as winter season in its life cycle in subtropical conditions. Important climatic needs at different growth phases are discussed in next slides. So, you can see climatic requirement of sugarcane crop. It requires high temperature, more than 30 degrees centigrade, and low relative humidity, say less than 50%, and sunny weather with minor shower for germination and trilling phase. Moderate temperature with high relative humidity, say more than 70%, and evenly distributed rainfall for grand growth phase. Low temperature, moderately dry and sunny period for ripening phase. So, you can see the climatic requirement slightly varies with the stage of the crop. Temperature less than 20 degrees centigrade reduces rate of germination, while high light intensity for a long duration promotes trilling of this crop. Continuous rainfall, cloudy weather and short days affect trilling adversely. In both tropics and subtropics, grand growth phase commences with onset of southwest monsoon when temperature and humidity both are high. During this phase, high wind velocity, say more than 60 km per hour, is harmful and lodging may occur. So, these kind of conditions may come in the month of July and August when rainfall is heavy, and in certain circumstances lodging can occur during this phase. Now, you can see sugarcane growing agroclimatic zones of India. So, there are 5 zones. You can see number 1 is northwest zone. It is shown by green color in the map. It includes Uttar Pradesh, particularly western and central UP, Punjab, Haryana and parts of Rajasthan. The north central zone, this is north central zone, you can see. It includes eastern UP, Bihar, West Bengal. Third one is peninsular zone, this part This part is your peninsular zone. It includes Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, MP and parts of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Next is fourth one is East Coast Zone. So this is east side and this is East Coast Zone, the yellow one. It includes coastal areas of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. The last and fifth one is Northeastern Zone. It includes Assam and other northeastern states. So overall there are 5 zones where sugarcane is grown in India. Now you can see details of the zone. Northwestern zone, it includes Uttar Pradesh, western and central UP, Punjab, Haryana and parts of Rajasthan. Just now you have seen in the map. And what are the particulars here? Extreme climate, especially temperature. Crop suffers from extreme moisture deficit in summer. Elongation phase short and growth ceases because of low temperature with commencement of winter. Next is North Central Zone. It includes Eastern UP, Bihar, West Bengal. The crop suffers from flood and gets inundated for long period in North Central Zone. In Northeastern Zone, sugarcane grown in patches and area under cultivation is very less. Now you see in the tropical zone, East Coast Zone, coastal Odisha, coastal Andhra Pradesh, coastal Tamil Nadu, sugarcane productivity is very high and most suitable climate condition for sugarcane growth. Peninsular zone, it also falls in the tropical zone. Here Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Kerala, MP, parts of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. It supports longer duration of the crop, say Adh-Sali crop of 18 months. Most suitable climatic conditions for sugar accumulation. Long hours of sunshine, low temperature at night adds to high sugar recovery. So overall you are seeing that sugarcane in India is primarily cultivated in subtropical parts, mostly northern parts, and tropical parts, mostly in southern parts or western parts. Now climate in tropical regions of India. Cane productivity in tropical states is higher, 18 tons per hectare, than subtropical state. The main reason is that climate is more favorable in tropical areas compared to subtropical area. Other is that they grow it for 18 months. Therefore, it takes longer period, more sugar accumulation and more yield. Crop gets more or less ideal climatic conditions for its growth and development throughout the year in tropical belt of the India. Maharashtra and adjoining areas of Karnataka, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh record higher sugar recovery due to a long sunshine hours, cool nights with clear sky and latitudinal position favoring sugar accumulation. Now climate in subtropical areas, subtropical regions of India, crop face extremes of climate. Here crop may face both high and low temperatures, relative humidity, sunshine hours and wind velocity, etc. Cane production and productivity very much influenced by climatic conditions throughout the year. For example, Uttar Pradesh is having maximum area under sugarcane, however highest sugar recovery being obtained in Maharashtra. Climatic conditions are variable depending on seasons and sometimes within season also. So in this subtropical belt, sugarcane passes through different kind of weathers or different kind of seasons. For example, it has to pass the summer season, then rainy season and then winter season. So here the fluctuations in climatic conditions are more than the tropical region. Therefore, it could be one of the reasons for lower productivity in subtropical belt than in tropical belt. Sugarcane crop faces all the 3 seasons in a year in this belt. During April to June, weather is very hot and dry. July to October is rainy season, accounting for most of the rainfall from southwest monsoon in subtropical area. December and January are very cold very cold, and temperature touches sub-zero levels in many places. So November to March, cool months with clear sky. Some parts have very low temperature in December, January, which often causes frost. So sometimes frost damage can be there on the sugarcane crop in subtropical areas. During May and June, temperatures are extremely high. Because of extremes of weather, the active sugarcane growth is restricted to 4 to 5 months only. In northeast zone, East UP, Bihar and West Bengal, crop suffers due to floods also and waterlogging during monsoon season. It can also adversely affect the growth, yield and quality of sugarcane. High incidence of pests and diseases is major bottleneck in achieving high sugar production in subtropical belts. Cane yields lower due to short growing season, moisture stress, more pest and disease problems, floods and water logging, and very poor ratoons. Now, zone-wise constraint of sugarcane cultivation. There are number of constraints in different zones of sugarcane growing. Some constraint of course may be common, but some may be unique to a particular zone. So first of all, check the constraint in northwest zone. Here the topmost constraint could be non-availability of labor for intercultural operation, then transportation problem of sugarcane sets, delay in transportation of harvested cane, high cost of sets of sugarcane, occurrence of insect pests and diseases, extreme climate, especially temperature, short growth period and occasional to severe frost. So these are the limitation or constraint in northwest zone. Now in north central zone, again non-availability of labor for intercultural operations, transportation problem of sugarcane sets, delay in transportation of harvested cane, high cost of sugarcane sets, regional politics at cane factories. This is also a constraint. Less pre-monsoon and high post-monsoon rainfall can also happen. Now northeast, lack of knowledge of scientific crop production, lack of regular visit by extension personnel to the villages, occurrence of insect pests and diseases, crop damage due to flood, late planting could also be there, and drought during crop cane formation period. So these are the constraints for northeast sugarcane growing zone. East coast, non-availability of labor for intercultural operation, transportation problem of sugarcane sets, heavy winds in October, November and lodging can occur. Two monsoon, summer and winter monsoon preceded by cyclonic winds, temperature favorable for vegetative growth even during maturity, and associated winter monsoon cause low recovery. So these are some of the constraints. And now peninsular India, constraints are non-availability of labor for intercultural operation, inadequacy of irrigation water at proper time, non-availability of equipment at village level, irregular supply of electricity, it is indirectly related to water supply, heavy winds in October, November lodges sugarcane, occurrence of insect pests and diseases. Some more constraints are in peninsular zone, lack of finance to purchase sugarcane sets, fertilizers and other inputs, lack of knowledge about use of water and its critical stages for application, lack of knowledge about spraying of insecticides, lack of technical guidance and lack of training at village level. So now see soil requirement. What kind of soils are best fit for cultivation of the sugarcane? It is definitely cultivated in variety of soils, taking from light soils to heavy texture soils in different regions. Now you will see what are the important soil groups where sugarcane is cultivated in the country. So deep, well drained, medium textured soils having sufficient water holding capacity with near neutral reaction are are most suitable for sugarcane cultivation. However, it can be grown in any kind of soil, varying from very heavy to very light in texture, except problem soils. It does not like problem soil like saline soil, sodic soil and acidic soils. In India, it is grown in three major soil groups. These are alluvial, black and red soils. In Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, it is mainly grown in Gangetic alluvial soils. In Bihar, Bihar consists of two physiographic units, Northern Plains and Southern Plateau of Chota Nagpur. North Bihar is white sugar belt of state and its soils are alluvial deposits laid down by Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers. So, sugarcane in Bihar is mostly grown in northern parts. In Punjab and West Bengal, it is grown on alluvial soils. Alluvial soils of Punjab have really poor structure with hard or conker pan in some cases. West Bengal alluvials are developed as a riverine lowlands and categorized as Gangetic riverine, Vindhya riverine and Baksa riverine. Main group of soils in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu are black, alluvial, red and lateritic and cultivated on almost all types of soil in these states. In Karnataka, it can be grown on black, red and lateritic soils. In Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, it is grown in medium to heavy black soils. So, we can see the details. In Andhra Pradesh, black, alluvial and laterite soils. Assam, alluvial and tilla lands. Bihar, alluvial soils. Gujarat, medium and deep black soils as well as alluvial soil. Haryana, alluvial soils. Karnataka, medium and deep black soils, red soils. And in Madhya Pradesh, medium to heavy black soils, it can be grown. In Maharashtra, it is grown in medium to heavy black soils. Odisha, red, black and laterite soils. Punjab, alluvial soils. Rajasthan, deep and medium black soils. Tamil Nadu, black and alluvial soils. And in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and West Bengal, it is grown in alluvial soils. Now see growing season. What are the growing seasons of sugarcane in the country? So it is basically a perennial crop cultivated for different duration to fit in local cropping patterns determined by climatic, edaphic and socio-economic factors. In India, it is grown in tropics, say south of 23° north and subtropics north of 23° north. A historical anomaly that a crop which is native of tropics is being grown in subtropics at such a large scale. This is really interesting. Basically, sugarcane is a tropical plant and grown in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, etc. Those have tropical kind of climate, but it is being successfully grown in northern states also, which have roughly subtropical kind of climate. Early thin cane varieties being more suitable for North Indian conditions. Better availability of industrial infrastructure, rail and road created during British period in North India is responsible for higher sugarcane area in subtropics than in tropics. So growing season in subtropics is restricted to 40 to 52 weeks and in tropics it is 52 to 72 weeks. So you can see that the growing period of sugarcane crop is generally longer in tropical area and it is as compared to tropical region, it is shorter in northern regions. Low temperature less than 20 degrees centigrade onwards from mid-November to January restrict planting time in subtropics, whereas planting may continue round the year in tropics. Trilling span restricted due to unimodal rainfall patterns mid-June to mid-September in North India. Climate favorable in elongation phase but erratic monsoon affects crop adversely in the subtropics. Cane growing tracts in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu enjoy warmer conditions and no growth arresting temperature. It will never go below 20 degrees centigrade in South India, and duration for crop elongation is more than double than subtropics. However, susceptibility to cyclonic weather and fewer hours of bright sunshine in east coastal belts offsets crop performance than Maharashtra, where weather remains uniform with low relative humidity during ripening. So, these cyclonic winds can cause problems or lodging or loss to the sugarcane crop, particularly in coastal areas. Best growing conditions available in Deccan region due to freedom from cyclonic weather, high radiation, occurrence of ideal temperature during winters. Problem of low recovery in coastal belts in tropics happens due to humid and warm climate being more conducive for vegetative growth. Now we can see planting time and the duration of the crop in different states. So, first check the details about subtropical India. It includes Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab and Haryana. The ideal planting time for autumn crop is September to October, and its duration is 16 months, longer duration for autumn planted cane. Then second planting is done from February to March, and this is called as spring planted cane or sugar cane, and it takes about 12 months. Then there could be late planting which is done in April, May. It is called as summer planting and it takes less time, which is 10 months. However, productivity decreases as the duration of the crop decreases. In general, means the autumn sugarcane will give you highest productivity, followed by spring planted cane, and the lowest yield may be achieved from summer planted sugarcane. Now see situation in Bihar. It is planted in October, November for autumn planting, and for spring planting it is February, March. So it takes about 13 to 15 months in autumn planting crop to mature, and in spring crop it takes about 10 to 12 months for maturity or ripening. Now again in subtropical India, say Rajasthan, autumn planting is done in October and spring planting February, March. Autumn crop here takes 14 to 15 months and spring crop takes 10 to 12 months. In Madhya Pradesh, autumn cane is planted in October, November. It takes 14 months time, and then spring planting is done in January, February. It takes 12 months. Then Assam, it is grown during January to March and it takes about 10 to 12 months. In West Bengal, it can be sown during October to April and it takes about 12 to 15 months. Now see the situation in tropical India. Maharashtra, it is planted during July, August, and this crop is called as Adasali. It takes 18 months or 1.5 years. Therefore, it is called as Adasali. October to November, it is pre-seasonal crop and it also takes 15 months to mature, and also planted in January, February, which is called as Suru, and it takes about 12 months period. Now see the planting time in Andhra Pradesh. It is August to September, called Adasali, and it takes 18 months time. December to January are for early varieties, 10 months. January to February for mid varieties, it is 11 months. February to March is late varieties, 12 to 14 months. That means late varieties take longer time, and then mid variety take less time than the late variety, but more time than the early variety. And early variety takes the least time to mature. They mature early, therefore they are called as early maturing varieties. In sugarcane, varieties are classified based upon their duration into 3 categories. Now see, in tropical India, Tamil Nadu, July to September is the planting time, and it is a special season. It takes 13 months. December to May, main season of cane in Tamil Nadu, it takes 12 months, and then it can be planted in January to March, and this is called as ideal main season. It takes 12 months period. So you can see in these areas in Tamil Nadu, you can go for planting almost during any month of the year except 1 or 2 months. Now you see in Karnataka, July, August is the season for Adasali crop. It takes about 16 to 18 months, and then October to November, autumn crop, it takes 14 months, and then January, February, spring crop, it takes 10 to 12 months. In Gujarat, October to November, pre-seasonal crop, January to February, ek sali, it takes 12 months, and in Odisha, October to March, it takes 10 to 14 months, and another time is January to February in Odisha, considered as most ideal time. In Kerala, it is planted during October to December. It is usual season, it takes 10 to 12 months, and in August also in a hilly rainfed tract, if there it takes about 10 to 12 months. Now we go to another topic, seed bed or field preparation for sugarcane sowing. So this crop requires clean preparation of field with good tillage. Thorough plowing, especially in heavy soils, helps root system penetrating deep into soil and prevents crop lodging. In North India, where it is mostly grown on alluvial loam soils, one deep plowing with soil turning plough followed by 2 cross harrowing is sufficient. Cross subsoiling at 45 cm depth and 1 meter distance breaks hard pan to promote root proliferation for adequate nutrient and water absorption and better anchorage. So what happens under certain soil conditions, there may be formation of hard pan below the plough layer, and which is required to be broken down for better root growth, better aeration, and also better water relations in the soil. In peninsular India, where it is grown on clay and clay loam soils, more plowings may be required. Now seed cane. Seed canes are actually the sets which are used for sowing purposes or multiplication purposes. So crop is vegetatively propagated, and seed used in planting is cutting of a stem carrying 1, 2 or 3 buds. So for commercial cultivation of sugarcane, the stem of the sugarcane is used, and you cut it into different pieces, say each having 1, 2 or 3 buds, and then these sets are planted. True seed or real seed is not used for commercial multiplication of sugarcane. Therefore, it is multiplied by vegetative methods. So these cuttings or sets should carry healthy, viable buds and adequate moisture, high reducing sugars and nitrogen, and be free from pests and diseases. So these should be the characteristics of a ideal set. It should be genetically pure from a plant crop and should have good germination of buds. So the seed material that is being taken for planting should be from the main crop or should be from the first crop, not from the ratoon, because it is expected that ratoon seed may not be healthy seed. It may contain some diseases or infestation by insect pests and diseases. So seed of first crop should be used, which is called as plant crop. In mature cane, top half be used as seed, leaving bottom half for crushing. So it is suggested that top half should be used for sowing purpose, and remaining the bottom half can be sold to the factories for juice extraction or sugar production. The simple reason is that the top half is rich in water and the buds or nodes are very close. So germination here is good, and also it contains reducing sugars like glucose in higher proportion than sucrose. So, therefore, the germination is also fast due to receipt of quick energy from the glucose. So, lower internodes have less moisture and sucrose content is higher than reducing sugars. Means here the sucrose is more than glucose. Upper half is succulent and contains younger undamaged buds without any covering of scales. Because of high reducing sugar content, young buds germinate better and faster. For good germination, cane should have about 80% viable buds and more than 60% moisture and high level of reducing sugar. Now see seed rate, how much seed is required for planting 1 hectare area of sugarcane. So, seed rate varies with climatic conditions, quality of seed cane, planting season and method of planting. So, number of factors will affect the seed requirement. Quality of seed means if the germination percent is lower, then you would need more seed. Similarly, planting season under say autumn planting, you may require less seed rate compared to spring planting. Also, planting method where the spacing is narrow, you would require more seed, and if the spacing is wider, as is the case of trench method, then you will need less seed. So, number of factors will govern the seed requirement. Optimum plant population per unit area is essential to get the profitable yield. About 38,000 to 40,000 students should pay attention. About 38,000 to 40,000 3 bud sets needed to plant 1 hectare area during autumn season in subtropical north, which can be obtained from 5 to 6 tons of cane. So, here the requirement of seed set is 5 to 6 tons per hectare. The set number is 38,000 to 40,000. These sets are 3 budded sets, and this is for autumn planting. For spring planting, you can see the set number is more, 48,000 to 50,000, and under late planting, that is done in summer, April, about 58,000 to 60,000 sets needed from 6 to 8 tons per hectare. So, here if your sowing is delayed, you need to increase the seed rate, and it may be from 6 to 8 tons per hectare, or you can say 60 to 80 quintals per hectare. In tropical south, about 25,000 to 40,000 3 or 2 budded sets per hectare are needed, as spacing is wider in those cases. The cane is thick, tilling is more, so therefore they can keep little wider spacing in tropical parts of the country. Handheld choppers, that is gandasa, used for cutting sugarcane sets. However, ICR, Indian Institute of Sugarcane Research, IISR, has developed a set cutting machine which cuts 12,000 3 or 2 budded sets per hour. So, its capacity is too high. If you need manual harvesting method or manual cutting method, then it takes lot of labor. Now, seed treatment is also important to prevent attack of many diseases, particularly fungal diseases or maybe some viral diseases. We need to treat the seed. To avoid spread of set-borne diseases, set cutting implement be frequently dipped in a fungicide solution. So, first of all, the kind of implement, say some people use sickle, some people use gandasa or some other local implements to cut the sets. So, those kind of implements should also be treated with fungicides regularly. Treatment of sets for preventing diseases like smut is very, very important. Dipping of sets in 0.2% solution of systemic fungicide carbendazim for 15 minutes before planting is recommended. So, one can prepare 0.2% solution of bavastine or carbendazim, same name, and for this you can take 2 gram bavastine per liter water and make the desirable solution and in this desirable solution keep the 3 budded sets or 2 budded sets for 15 minutes, at least for 15 minutes for seed treatment. To prevent set-borne diseases like red rot, smut, grassy shoot and wilt, moist hot air treatment be adopted. So this is also another kind of treatment which help to prevent many diseases. So in most moist hot air treatment, it involves placement of seed cane under 54 degrees centigrade. It is 54 degrees centigrade temperature and 99% relative humidity for 2 to 2.5 hours in MHAT plant designed by ICAR, Indian Institute of Sugarcane Research, Lucknow. Raising seed nursery from heat-treated canes often eliminates primary infection of ratoon in stunting and grassy shoot diseases. So if you get frequent occurrence of viral diseases, then also this moist hot air treatment is good. So many diseases can be prevented if you go for moist hot air treatment. Healthy and good cane sets be selected by rejecting cane sets which have damaged buds, reddening at cut ends and damage by pest. Intact cane length should never be used due to prevalence of apical dominance that hinder germination of lower buds. It is interesting, sometimes some farmers who do not have knowledge, they can plant the whole cane without cutting it into the pieces. That should not be done. It would affect the germination adversely. Seed from ratoon should never be used as it is prone to seed-borne diseases like grassy shoot disease, GSD, ratoon stunting disease, etc. Now we switch over to another important topic, which is planting methods. So planting is done manually or mechanically, means you can do by using human labor or animal labor or also by machine. So in manual planting, several options are available depending on agroecological and socio-economic conditions. Method also differs with planting material used and nature of soil manipulation and earthwork done. Flat method is common in North India, being replaced by trench method, while in tropical South, ridge furrow method is extensively followed or practiced. So there are number of methods that are followed in India for planting of sugarcane or sowing of sugarcane. Planting methods also depends on the objective of grower or resources availability. For seed economy, spaced transplanting technique, which is known as STP, spaced transplanting technique, and another is bud chip method and polybag method, polybag raised seedlings are adopted. So in these methods, the seed requirement is less. Under adverse climatic conditions, say drought or salinity, and also to enhance input use efficiency, trench method may be followed. So depending upon the requirement, climatic conditions, soil condition, personal interest of the farmers, many factors they will govern the type of method used for planting sugarcane. Now ring pit method be adopted for undulating topography, problem soils and yield maximization. Partha method is suitable for situations where the soil is excessively moist at planting or there may be little waterlogging condition. Under those situations, Partha method may be useful. So number of methods are available and every method, single method cannot be applicable to all conditions. So overall you can see there are 9 methods: flat method, trench method, IISR 8626 method, STP method, ring pit method, Partha method, Savlang, bud chip technique and polybag settling. So in brief, we are going to discuss these methods. Flat method. So land prepared to fine tilth by 1 to 2 deep plowings. followed by harrowing and planking. Shallow furrows of 10 to 15 centimeter depth at a distance of 90 centimeter in autumn and 75 centimeter in spring opened and sets placed in furrows, compacted by a heavy wooden plank to conserve soil moisture. So, flat method is the simplest method where you need to open furrows at 90 centimeter during autumn or 75 centimeter in spring. So, for this one can use tractor and necessary implement that can make the furrow, or it can be made manually also by using spade or other implement, or sometimes plow can be used. Desi plow can be used to make furrow using animal power. So, number of options are available, but the depth of the furrow should be about 10 to 15 centimeter. This method is very common in North India. Number 2 is flat method of planting. This continuous flat method of planting, sugarcane cutter planter developed by ICR IISR Lucknow effectively reduces time and labor needs. In place of 30 to 40 man days required for conventional practice, only 5 man days needed for planting with a cutter planter. So, cutter planter is a machine, it is self-propelled machine that can plant the sugarcane, and also it can do cutting of the sets simultaneously. It performs all planting related operations including fertilizer placement and insecticide or fungicide spray in a single pass. 2 hectare planting can be done with planter in one day. So, this machine is quite efficient for planting of sugarcane. You can see how it is done, this machine. This is here and flat method, and you can check the machine. It is behind the tractor and then it is doing the job of sowing. Number 2 is trench method, an important method, and this method is finding increasing use in northern India, adopted to enhance nutrient and water use efficiency and to provide better soil anchorage to prevent crop lodging. After land preparation, 25 centimeter deep and 30 centimeter wide trenches are made. Means in place of furrow, now you make trenches, and bottom of trenches tilled to pulverize soil and FYM incorporated. Then sets, sugarcane sets are placed with last bud overlapping at bottom in 2 rows on either side of trench base and then covered with soil followed by irrigation. Recommended for soils with high fertility. It gives better germination because of higher soil moisture content, and thin soil layer over sets provide better anchorage to the sugarcane crop. So, in trenches, the moisture retention is more and the cane are covered with thin layer of the soil. Therefore, germination is excellent in case of trench method. High yields of main and ratoon crops are obtained, suitable for wider spacing to fit intercrops also. Mechanized trench planters available, performing all planting operations in one go, and they save time and labor. So, you can see this is trench method. So, trenches are made, these are the trenches, and in trenches on either side or both sides the sugarcane sets are kept. They can be kept this way also, and then you can see this is how the crop is growing in trench method. Third method is IISR 8626 method. It is Indian Institute of Sugarcane Research located in Lucknow. So, that institute has developed this method. So, it intended to exploit subsoil moisture and native soil fertility of Indo-Gangetic plains. About 2 months before planting, seed stalks are topped. Top means cutting. The canes are cut from the top, and trash and leaves are also cleaned or removed, facilitating sprouting of the lateral buds. That means the stalks or the canes are standing in the field, but their tops are cut and their trash is also removed, so that there are some buds on the cane, and these buds will germinate in the air. So, main field prepared by forming 20 centimeter wide and 30 centimeter deep trenches at a spacing of 90 centimeter. And you are seeing that they were detoped, and you can see the buds have germinated. Buds have germinated on the left side also. So this is IISR 8626. So tailed or long Rayongan cut set from top and sprouted, planted at 50 to 75 centimeter vertically in trenches, filled with mix of soil and fertilizer to brim, followed by irrigation. So this is also good method, yields high but commercially not adopted or exploited. Next is spaced transplanting method, STP. Single buds used to develop seedlings on raised seed bed, about 50 meter square land and only 2 tons seed cane needed to raise seedlings for transplanting 1 hectare. So very small quantity of area, very small quantity of seed is required. Single bud sets prepared by cutting just above the growth ring, only single bud set. Sets are planted vertically, covered with sugarcane trash or paddy straw, and watering done by rose cane. About 4 to 6 week old seedlings transplanted following 45 centimeter or 60 centimeter plant to plant spacing in main field. Irrigation given just after the transplanting. It reduces seed rate by 1/3, increases multiplication ratio of buds, reduces lodging of cane. It increases 20 to 25% yield in tropics and 40 to 50% yield in subtropics over conventional set planting, especially suited for sugarcane multiplication of new varieties. So definitely this method has several advantages, but despite that it has not been adopted on commercial scale by the farmers. You can see how it is done. So might be very laborious also. You see, first 1 bud sets are cut, and then they are put vertically in the soil like this, and then they are allowed to germinate like this, and then they are planted or transplanted. So it is getting transplanted like we go for transplanting of rice. Ring pit method, it encourages synchronous development of mother shoots and suppresses excessive tillering. Circular pit of 75 to 90 centimeter diameter and 45 centimeter depth means like this. This is the circular pit, and it should have 75 or 90 centimeter diameter and 40 centimeter should be the depth, 45 centimeter, and center to center distance should be 120 centimeter. Means suppose there is one more pit. So this distance from center of this pit and center of this pit, this should be about 120 centimeter during autumn and 105 centimeter during spring planting. Field marked at regular intervals of 120 or 105 centimeter with a rope, and straight lines are drawn both ways, and at a point of intersection a ring is made. A space of 30 centimeter left between rings. Each pit receives 5 to 8 kg farmyard manure or compost, 40 gram urea and 10 gram each of single superphosphate and muriate of potash. Healthy sets with 2 to 3 buds chosen. 20 sets arranged horizontally in a circular fashion in each pit. Each pit has 60 buds. Can be done manually or tractor mounted pit digger is also available. It requires high seed rate and investment. Cane yield substantially higher than flat method. Now you can see how this method, ring pit method, works. So these are the pits, they are made, and inside them certain counted sets are kept in this fashion, circular fashion, here, and there are some distances that has already been told to you, distances, and then it looks like this at the time of sowing, and when it germinates, followed by that you will see this kind of growth of cane happens in this method. So, in certain areas, certain countries, it has been adopted at a smaller scale, but in India it is not very common method. Partha method is yet another method developed by S.B. Partha Sarthi for soils with excess moisture, swampy soils in heavy rainfall areas of coastal Andhra, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. So, 3 bud sets planted in a slanting position like this, This is your set, slanted, it is planted, this is your soil surface and this is your set. So, it is slanted. 60° to vertical, one eye is thrust into the ground, like this, and about 2 to 2.5 centimeter deep, and 2 top buds sprout up, they are in the air. When monsoon recedes, slanting set is pressed, this is pressed into soil to a horizontal position and soil from sides added up to enable shoots to strike growth. Now, you can see how this method performs. These are the sets and they are planted in a slanting fashion on ridges. So, this is under waterlogged conditions, and then these vertical sets are pushed or made horizontal and they are pushed into the soil. Then they start growth. Sab-Lang method, seed crop grown in well fertilized light soils to promote profuse tilling. As tillers develop, these are served from mother shoot along with roots and they are planted after cutting from the mother shoot. Ideal for gap filling in ratoon as well as plant crop. It gives highest rate of set propagation under adverse edaphic and climatic conditions. Another technique is bud chip technique of planting. Bud chips are bud along with a portion of nodal region, chipped off using a bud chipping machine. Bud chip treated with fungicide and planted in nursery bed or poly bags filled with a mixture of organic manure like farmyard manure, pressed mud, soil and sand in a ratio of 1:1:1. That means 1 ratio of organic manure, 1 ratio for soil and 1 ratio for sand. About 6 to 8 weeks old seedlings or setlings transplanted in the main field. It saves seed material and cane stalks after removal of bud chips can be sent to mill. So, this is quite interesting method. Here you are not planting the sets, here you extract or you cut the bud from the sugarcane and then plant those buds to raise seedlings or setlings, and then you can go for transplanting. So, this is how chips can be made from the cane, and only the chips are removed from the cane and rest of the cane can be sold in the market, and these chips should be treated with fungicides. On the right side you can see how these chips are used to raise seedlings. Polybag settling, transplanting, replacement of labor intensive STP. So, here you can see they are raised in polythene and then they are transplanted. It is good for gap filling of ratoon crop. Now, see earthing up and tying up. These operations are very important. It is earthing up is done to prevent water logging in the field. You can make some furrows and make the lower part, base part of the sugarcane stronger so that the lodging is not occurring. Similarly, tying of the sugarcane crop is also important, which prevent the crop from lodging. So, in most of the situation you have to go for tying the crop two times during the growth of the crop. It is done in both tropical as well as subtropical parts. I just show you picture how tying can be done. So, this is sugarcane and you see one clump can be tied with another clump using the leaves from the same clump. So, you can tie, and this is called as tying. So, dear students, hope you liked this lecture. Thank you very much.